I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse. Were there none who were discontented with what they have, the world would never reach anything better. Live your life while you have it. Life is a splendid gift, there is nothing small about it. The greatest heroes are those who do their duty in the daily grind of domestic affairs whilst the world whirls as a maddening dreidel. How very little can be done under the spirit of fear. The first thought I can remember, and the last thought I shall have, will be of nursing work. Let us never consider ourselves finished nurses. We must be learning all of our lives. I think one's feelings waste themselves in words. They ought all to be distilled into actions which bring results. The very first requirement in a hospital is that it should do the sick no harm. What the horrors of war are, no one can imagine. They are not wounds, and blood, and fever, and gangrene, but the mental agonies of war. Apprehension, uncertainty, waiting, expectation, fear of surprise, do a patient more harm than any exertion. To be in charge is certainly not only to carry out the proper measures yourself, but to see that everyone else does so too. So much work, so much to do, but how could I refuse? No man, not even a doctor, ever gives any other definition of what a nurse should be than this: devoted and obedient. A nurse is to maintain the air within as pure as the air without. Nursing is an art, and if it is to be made an art, it requires an exclusive devotion as hard a preparation as any painter's or sculptor's work. Never lose an opportunity of urging a practical beginning, however small. A woman cannot live without a man any more than a man without a woman, but they must be of the right kind. To understand God's thoughts, one must study statistics, for these are the measure of His purpose. It may seem a strange principle to enunciate as the very first requirement in a hospital that it should do the sick no harm. The martyr sacrifices themselves entirely in vain, or rather not in vain, for they make the selfish more selfish, the lazy more lazy, the narrow narrower. He is the best physician who is the most ingenious inspirer of hope. The object of life is to make the best of life and to do the best we can for others. God spoke to me and called me to His service. What form this service was to take, the voice did not say. Do not sit down to grieve, it is always loss of time. Rise and do. No system can endure which does not march. Ignorance, forgetfulness, unteachableness, unbelief, These are the things that prevent us from being all we might be. The progressive world is necessarily divided into two classes: those who take the best of what there is and enjoy it, and those who wish for something better and try to create it. Never refuse any advance of friendship, for if 9 out of 10 bring you nothing, one alone may repay you. If I could give you information of my life, it would be to show how a woman of very ordinary ability has been led by God. Let whoever is in charge keep this simple question in her head, not, "How can I always do this right thing myself?" but "How can I provide for this right thing to be always done?" There is no part of my life upon which I can look back without pain. I cannot remember the time when I have not longed for some other life than this. Nursing is one of the fine arts, I had almost said, the finest of the fine arts. The greatest heroes are the ones who quietly work for the greater good. Every nurse ought to be careful to wash her hands very frequently during the day. The better a woman is educated, the better her country. Health is not only to be well, but to use well every power we have. Nursing is an art, and if it is to be made an art, it requires as hard preparation as any painter's work. I stand at the altar of the murdered men, and while I live, I fight their cause. A great reform is necessary. Surely women should be educated to be equal to the great destiny which awaits them. I did not think of going to give myself a position, but for the salvation of others. There is no part of my life that is not filled with the work of God. Charity begins at home, but should not end there. To know why we do something is to understand its purpose. Life is measured in deeds, not years. Work for something because it is good, not just because it stands a chance to succeed. The measure of life is what one gives. Act on the opportunities presented to you, for they may never come again.